From an NBA legend tearing it up on the court to another who almost had his NBA career cut short, these are the most emotional NBA moments. Kicking things off at number 10, now every kid who grew up balling always dreams of that one epic night, the NBA draft night. So when people actually make it to the NBA, it's like a roller coaster of emotions, man. I'm talking about some of the most intense interviews in NBA history. But as emotional as players get at the draft, that's just the beginning of the hype they have to live up to. But then there are ballers who never get to live their dreams due to problems out of their control. See, this is Isaiah Austin, and in 2014 he was straight killing it at Baylor University, leading his squad to the NCAA Sweet 16. Standing tall at 7 feet, he was all about them flashy blocks, making waves in the game. And yo, he was about to hit the big leagues, projected to be a first-round pick in the 2014 NBA draft, making all the dreams come true. But then, just days before the draft, he got hit with the bombshell. Yeah, Isaiah Austin was dealing with Marfan syndrome, a super rare genetic condition that meant the end of his plans to play in the NBA, but then the NBA came through in a way he'll never forget. At number 8, a player had an entire stadium fearing for his life. Back in 2017, and just 5 minutes into the season, Gordon Hayward suffered one of the most horrific injuries ever seen on the court. The injury was so intense, it got NBA players there on the court in their feelings, and they don't even let the video out on YouTube. But you gotta give props where they're due, because Hayward had the entire NBA rallying behind him, and during the Celtics' very next game, he came through to let everyone know he ain't backing down. That's some real respect right there, man. As crazy as that Hayward injury was, this next one almost ended the career of one of the greatest NBA players ever. During the 2019 NBA playoffs, everybody had their eyes on the Warriors as KD, Steph, and Klay were all on fire. But then, during their run, KD took a hit. He suffered a right calf strain during Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Houston Rockets. Now, KD had to sit out for 9 games, but the Warriors kept grinding and made it to the finals without him, but things were looking rough. The series was 3-1 in favor of the Toronto Raptors. Now, peeps knew it would take a straight-up miracle for the Warriors to pull off a comeback, and they believed that miracle was KD back out on the court. So, KD heard all the talk, and his team was just one loss away from losing it all. So he decided to make his return. But little did he know it was coming. He suffered one of the worst injuries ever, a torn Achilles, an injury that's ended careers before him. So, when my man couldn't even walk off the court without some help, and then opposing fans were cheering on his downfall, they must not have realized the sacrifice he made. Kevin risked the rest of his career for that one game, and yo, that's where the whole vibe at the Warriors organization got emotional. Nah, for real, you gotta respect KD for putting his team over his own life, man. That's some next level dedication right there. But alright, listen up. Not every emotional moment is super serious, because at number 6, we got this fan who got so worked up he ended up getting booted out of the NBA game by the police. And at number 5, LeBron James didn't just live up to his hype, he straight up set one of the most legendary records in sports history. February 12, 2023, my man LeBron James walks into the Staples Center just 36 points away from becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer. And in that game, bam, this shot right here makes history. After breaking that impossible record, LeBron couldn't help but get emotional, right in front of his whole family and millions of people. Straight up legendary, man. Now at number 4, we gotta talk about an emotional ending to an NBA career. Now, Dirk Nowitzki was drafted from Germany in '98 by the Dallas Mavericks, and get this, he only played for the Mavs for his entire career, yo. During his time, he led the team to 15 NBA playoff appearances, including the team's first finals appearance in '06 and their only championship win in '11. So when Nowitzki decided to hang up his kicks in 2019, he was honored by many teams throughout the league. But yo, the most emotional tribute? That was his last game at home in Dallas. Straight up touching, man. That said, coming in number 3, we gotta talk about the most emotional what if in NBA history. Now, coming into the league, everybody thought Derrick Rose had a bright future ahead of him, and everything started hopeful when he came into the NBA as a number 1 draft pick and turned into a superstar overnight. My man D Rose became the greatest Chicago Bull since MJ, dominating the best players in the NBA and yo, making history by becoming the youngest MVP ever. But then, boom, it all went downhill real quick, and his downfall began during a blowout win when he wasn't even supposed to be playing. So, after Rose took the wrong landing and tore his ACL, it was straight up one of the scariest injuries in basketball, man. He got thrown right into rehab, hoping he'd bounce back to the court like nothing ever happened. But yo, that day came, and it was like the universe wasn't done with him yet. There were more devastating injuries and more doubts from the haters. It was rough. Rose didn't even know where his career was heading, but deep down, a part of him still wanted to succeed, you know? Then, while he was pouring his heart out in an emotional interview, it was like they could sense something bad was coming. Now, Rose wasn't just emotional because of the trade. Nah, Chicago's where he was born and raised, so when his own hometown seemed to give up on him, it hit differently, you know? And getting sent to a team at the bottom of the league, that was just the beginning of his struggles. More trades, more injuries, even more teams giving up on him, man. It was like the universe was testing him. But he ended up with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he knew he had one last shot to prove himself in the league. And that's when Rose had the best game of his career. My man D Rose went out there and had the best game of his career, defying all odds. And yo, it was more than just basketball, man. It gave the whole world hope. But overcoming injuries is one thing. And at number 2, we gotta talk about the real emotional moment for Michael Jordan. 3 years after his father was tragically murdered, MJ's Bulls were up 3-2 in the 1996 NBA Finals, with a chance to take home the championship, Game 6 landing right on Father's Day. Man, and there was no way Michael Jordan was gonna let his dad down. In fact, the man decided to use his father's murder as motivation and led the Bulls to the NBA title. The raw emotion Jordan showed after that victory was something else, man. It was touching, to say the least. But finally, at number 1, we gotta talk about the time one NBA player's NBA dream came true. Back in 2007, my man Andre Ingram was at the crossroads after balling for 4 years in college. He was all set to make it big in the NBA draft, but yo, every single team passed on him. So he hustled hard in the G League and ended up getting drafted by the Utah Flash. Over the next 10 years, Andre went all in on his NBA dreams, no doubt about it. He made some serious sacrifices, like hustling as a tutor just to support his family, man. By 2016, he was out of the G League, but that didn't stop him. Nah, he packed his bags and jetted off to Australia to keep the dream alive. For the next couple of years, he bounced from team to team, but it seemed like he had hit a dead end. But then, in 2018, he got that call that changed everything. After 11 long years, 32-year-old Andre Ingram finally made it to the big leagues, signing with the LA Lakers. And just a few days later, he had his official NBA debut and straight up balled out. Now that right there is some serious comeback story stuff for the ages. And there you have it. Some of the most emotional NBA moments ever. And if you liked the video, make sure to drop a like down below and don't forget to smash the subscribe button while you're at it.